Welcome to the Michigan Golfer Show. Join us each week as we explore the people, the places, and the events that shape our great game.
Hi, I'm Jack Berry, and I'm here with the members of the Jawors family, 5 brothers who are members of the PGA of America. The PGA is the largest group of working sports people in the business. 28,000 PGA members. We have 5 brothers here in the Detroit area. They were at all the municipal courses all around. And we're fortunate today that we have Stan with us. Stan is a young man in his 90s, and Cass is a young man in his 80s, and I'm in there too. So we're going to talk about some golf today and talk about all 5 of the brothers. Stan, of the players, Frank was the oldest, then Stan, then Chet, then Cass, and then John. I think I got that all right in there. And Stan is a fine player, and especially so when he got into playing on the senior side in the Michigan section, and won a number of tournaments. Cass was a good player. Cass got on the tour and had made a nice friendship with Gary Player. Frank was the golf coach at the Wayne State University, and was the president of the Michigan PGA at a time. Chet was the head of the City Pros, the 5 18-hole golf courses in Detroit. When I first knew him, he was at Rackham, and Chet knew everybody, and everybody knew Chet. He was just great, and wound up with the Range over in Gratiot in Roseville. He was a great putter. He didn't play much, but he could putt. And John was at a number of courses around in the area, at Plymouth, at Hilltop, and he always had the fastest greens in the business. If you wanted to play slippery greens, you went where John Jawor was. Stan was the man of the brothers. Now, when you started, I think you said that Frank gave you your first club. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
A wood-shafted club?
Wood-shafted. 5-iron. I used to love it. And
what did you do with it?
one time I went to hit it, and the thing broke on me. I was devastated because I could hit that 5-iron real good.
How old were you then?
Oh, I don't know. I was in my middle teens. I imagine about 15, 16 years old. 14.
Oh, wow.
14, 15 years old.
No, that still had wood clubs then.
Oh, we had them into early 20s. But anyways, finally I got another 5-iron, which after a while, I forgot about the wooden shaft.
Well, then how did you actually get into golf? What was the...
Well, I had a misfortune. I had an accident, and I lost my index finger. I got gangrene set in, and I had to have it amputated. So I wasn't going to school because my arm was in a sling. They said, you got to stay home for 3 or 4 weeks. So I did, and then it was nice weather in the spring. My brother Ted and Frank would go out and play golf, and they said, why don't you come out and maybe you can hit it one-handed, one-armed and learn to play. So I went out there, and I messed up, and finally I started hitting the ball. And I started hitting the ball pretty good, one arm. And I could hit the ball later on about 200 yards. And I would play some of these people one-armed. And then later on, I learned to play left-handed, right-handed.
Wow.
And I did.
Ambidextrous.
And I could hit it good left-handed. And I played real well right-handed at one time. And later on in my early 20s or middle 20s, I played golf with Chet. He was playing for the club championship at Warren Valley, and he says, come on, put the pressure on this guy. This guy was pretty good. He says, because I got to play him. I says, okay. So we went out. I shot 62. His opponent shot 64, and Chet shot 66. He was a little hot.
Well, you put pressure on him, but Chet didn't respond enough. No. So you caddied at Warren Valley, is that right?
Oh, yeah, I caddied there. Then I was a member there, and I was assistant.
How much did you make caddying?
Well, there I think it was well over $1, but at Rouge I started out at 75 cents for 18. Then it went to 85. Then it went to $1.
Going up.
I remember one time playing with this man. His name was Mr. Smith, and there was a outhouse on the 11th tee, and he had to go to the bathroom. So he says, you go ahead and play, and I'll catch you up with you, and then I'll watch you. So I went out, and I played this 11th hole. It's a pretty good hole. And I get up there, and I birdied the hole. And the other three guys, they all had sixes. So every time I went out and caddied for him, he had me play number 11.
Any more birdies?
Not really.
So what else did you get involved in tournament play?
Oh, I played in the Kentucky Derby Open. I played in the Western Open, Motor City Opens, Buick Open. Just about got a hole in one on number, I think, 11. It went right over the hole. I was playing with Don Cherry, the singer, and I got to know him pretty well that day. He says, is your brother named Cass? I says, yeah. Oh, man, is he a good player. So on 11, the ball, I hit a 2-iron and went right over the hole, and boy, the crowd hollered. And it just missed the hole by about an inch and stopped an inch behind the hole. The crowd was watching another big-time pro coming down number 2, I think it was, or 3, whatever it was. And a bunch of them run up to see what the heck happened. And they looked at it and they said, holy mackerel, why don't you put it in the hole?
So you played in these other tournaments. Who were some of the guys you played with?
Played with Art Wall, Peter Henning. But I played with a lot of the football players.
That was at Glen Oaks.
Right. I played with Max Evans one time. He just won the Eastern Open. He says, come on, pro, let's go play. Play 50 cents hole. I said, okay. So we went out and played 9 holes, and I just scorched the whole course. And he just lost. Then he says, come on, let's play another 9. And I really played well.
Max was a good player.
Yeah.
He was the handsome guy. He was
his wife's name was Valerie.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
She was a good player.
Yeah, right.
And
he was a good player in the girls' leagues.
We got through, and he says, well, here, you taught me a lesson. I says, no, Max, I don't want your money. That's all right. I didn't take his money, even though we played 50 cents a hole.
Yeah. Max played very well. He was pretty successful for quite a long time.
Yeah.
He was a lot of fun. He was a guy that people smiled and had a good time when Max was around.
I had a double eagle down in Mayfair, Sanford, Florida, Mayfair Country Club. 2 on a par 5. I hit a 3-wood into the hole. So, anyways, I come back up, and about, I don't know, 2, 3, 4 years later, I'm playing with my son Scott in the Pro-Am, and once you know it, at Dearborn Country Club, he gets a 2, which is unbelievable.
Max played very well. He was pretty successful for quite a long time, and he was a lot of fun. He was a guy that people smiled and had a good time when Max was around.
You told me a story one time about he didn't need any help.
Oh, I was pro at Glenbank Country Club, and he was just a little kid then. He was about, I don't know, 7, 8 years old or 9 years old. So we get on this one hole. It was the 7th hole at Grand Blanc Country Club. We're playing, and he hits it over the green. Hits it just a little left, and then he gets up by the green and he starts pitching, and he hits behind it. Then he hit halfway up on the ball. I said, Scott, here's what you're doing wrong. He said, I know what I'm doing. I said, okay. I didn't say nothing. So on the next hole, he finished that hole, and when we got on the next hole, he tees off. He hits one to the left. Then he hits another one to the left. Then he hits another one to the left. What am I doing, Dad? I said, well, you know what you're doing. And I didn't say nothing. He says, I'm sorry.
You got smart real fast.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he's always been good to me. He's a real good boy. To this day, he respects me.
Well, that's not surprising. How about Horton Smith? Won 2 Masters tournaments. Was the longtime pro at Detroit Golf Club. Did you have any?
I played with him in a qualifying for the PGA there. I forget where it was at. And he was past his prime, naturally. And he did qualify for it. And he was older. Real nice person. He always protected us.
The PGA pros?
Yeah, against them. It's hard.
He was the national president at one time.
He was the president of the PGA at the time. Yeah. And he was PGA in our section.
Right.
Yeah.
How about Suchak? He came to town at Oakland Hills, and he won at the Buick, and he was top player, big hitter. You ever play with him? Or?
Yeah, I played with him. We played in the PGA Club Pro down in Arizona. We played there. So he could hit the ball good, but I kept up with him, and I whipped him both rounds. So.
What's the strongest part of your game, Cass?
Well, when I played the tour, I hardly ever missed a fairway. I was one of the straightest drivers and one of the longest. I was considered poor putter, but I'll bet you if I had missed one fairway in 4 rounds, that was a lot. I was one of the straightest drivers, and I was a long driver. Cause with those balls we played back, the balata balls, and put some in the heads. But I could play. I didn't putt good. If I could putt, I would probably won 20 tournaments.
Well, I talked to Tom Gillis, and he said when on the European tour that he played with Seve Ballesteros, and they became friends, and they'd play some solo practice rounds together, and Tom had hit it down the middle of the fairway, and Seve says, "Boy, I wish I could do that." He says, "Well," and Tom says, "Well, I wish I could chip and putt like you do too." Seve was the all-time magician of getting out of trouble. He might have driven it bad, but the results then were just unbelievable. I mean, all the stories they tell of getting up and down.
Yeah, when we played back there, when I played on the tour, those guys, they wouldn't help anybody unless you really were close to them. I just went out there and played. Ken Venturi, just out there, and he wanted me to play with him. Played, then he helped me, and he was my best friend. And then Gardner Dickinson he was my best friend. They always wanted to play with me all the time. Nobody else. We just played one or the other.
How about any of the other guys on the big tour?
Well, those are my best friends. Ken Ventura, I played. He helped me a lot. He helped my son out too, and he said he's going to win a lot of tournaments on a PGA. But then when he went to California, because he moved to California because his two sons were in California and Arizona, went to the hospital. He got an infection, and he died there.
He was down there where Coral.
In Naples.
Naples, yeah, right.
He helped my son twice. He spent about 5-6 hours, and at one time we were way on the opposite side of the field with just members, the pros. He would give the lessons, and all the members were up there on the opposite side, about 300 yards. And he told my son, take your driver, hit it. Oh, no, he said, my son, no, I'll hit him. No, they said again, no, I'll hit him. He said, all right. So he hit it right into the crowd. He said, hit another one.
Who was that?
Ken Venturi.
Who hit it?
Jared.
Oh, Jared, yeah.
Yeah, and he said that he said he's going to be a great player. He'll win all kinds of tournaments. But he was going to help us get a sponsor, but then he died.
Well, we've been talking today with the Jawors. We got Stan and Cass, the two brothers. There were 5 of them were PGA members, and a lot of good memories about all those times. And they're still working at the game and still helping people out. And Stan is helping with the little kids there at Bushwood, and Cass is over in the northeast side or north. He's over in Lake Orion and bathing in the sunlight, I guess.